Good evening, I'm Abhiday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Corruption watchdog CIAA files cases against 15 individuals and 3 companies, concluding corruption of almost 7 billion rupees in the Melamchi drinking water project. Issues related to public concern not raised at the Parliament. Parliamentarians failed to raise questions regarding loan sharking, cooperatives, among other important issues. Mediator Qatar says talks to agree a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza not very promising in recent days. Hamas blames Israel for a lack of progress in achieving a ceasefire deal. And Nepal A team debuts in one-day cricket to register its historic start but suffers a 4-wicket defeat against Canada 11. Navneet Dhaliwal shines with a bat in Canada's win. Concluding corruption of almost 7 billion rupees in the Melamchi drinking water project, the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority CIAA filed cases against 15 individuals and 3 companies today. Concluding corruption at the Melamchi drinking water project, the CIAA registered cases at the special court today with a claim of 6.73 billion rupees. The anti-graft body filed cases against 15 individuals, including 3 former secretaries and 3 companies. Director General of the Department of Immigration and erstwhile board member of Melamchi Drinking Water Development Committee, Rudra Singh Tamang, has also been alleged of irregularities. Cases were also filed against former secretaries Sanjay Sharma, Bhim Upadhyay and Gajendra Thakur. Cases have also been filed against 2 consultant companies and 1 construction company. The CIAA filed cases with allegations of release of payments without completion of work, release of payments exceeding the quantity of work done, and decisions taken with the objective of benefiting the contractor companies. With the objective of providing drinking water to Kathmandu, the Melamchi drinking water project had begun in 1988 and remains to be completed. Reconstruction works have remained stranded after a flood damaged the project site in the Melamchi River of Sindhupalchok 2 years ago. Around 40 billion rupees has already been spent for the project. Meanwhile, the CIAA has not filed cases against ministers and those with political appointments. 13 parliamentarians demanded answers from Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal at the House of Representatives today on topics ranging from economy, good governance and development projects. At the House of Representatives, Rashtriya Swatantra Party's parliamentarian Ganesh Parajuli said that the course of investigations were being twisted and questioned Prime Minister Dahal regarding his understanding of good governance. In response, Dahal said that he was not afraid of losing power. 13 parliamentarians who questioned the Prime Minister sought answers regarding topics including the economy, good governance and development projects. Parliamentarian of the largest party of the ruling coalition, Nepali Congress, Gagan Thapa, had questioned Prime Minister Dahal regarding the obstacles in ensuring sound performance of the Premier when the revenue collection and development expenditure were disappointing. While Dahal promised of improvement, he did not furnish a clear response. Parliamentarians of main opposition CPN-UML had sought answers regarding ways to put an end to the risks of depositors, as some individuals had the ownerships of banking and financial institutions, which they said restricted the benefits of the economy. The parliamentarians also shared their grievances regarding the failure in implementation of their recommendations and problems faced by Karnali. Parliamentarians of CPN Maoist Center, of which the Prime Minister is the chairperson, had furnished answers regarding the failure in ensuring required capital expenditure in national pride projects. At the question and answer session, the parliamentarians had also sought answers on topics including climate change, encroachment of Chure, unemployment, rights of free kamayas, problems of Tharu communities, expenditure by the Indian Embassy, and no subsidies for mountainous districts. Issues related to public concern are supposed to be raised at the Parliament. However, despite the preparation of almost 1 month, public problems were not raised by the parliamentarians in their question and answer session with the Prime Minister. Neither did the government address them. Many parliamentarians repeated past questions, while Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal also furnished incomplete answers. The issue related to loan sharks is one of the major problems of the hour. Seeking justice, Victims of loan sharks had left for Kathmandu from Jhapa in the east and Kanchanpur in the west on 30th of January last month. Not a single parliamentarian attempted to question the government regarding the plight of those victims. Despite agreement in 5,000 cases from among 28,000 complaints, the remaining 23,000 are still struggling for justice. The 5,000 who are said to have received justice are still not content. Another major issue is that of the farmers, as they have yet to receive payments for milk. Government and private dairy entities have yet to release around 3 billion rupees in payments for the farmers. Farmers in Chitwan have staged a symbolic protest by spilling milk on the road. This issue also did not find any space at the federal parliament. Another major problem is related to cooperatives. With more than 500 cooperatives problematic, depositors have been demanding the return of their savings. However, the government does not have the exact data. Politicians themselves have been alleged of irregularities of funds of the cooperatives. It is the responsibility of the state to identify the problem and ensure the return of the deposits. This issue was also not raised at the parliament. Problems faced by Nepali nationals recruited in the Russian army is another major issue of the moment. Family members of those recruited in the Russian security forces have been making daily appeals with the government for their safe return. However, the parliamentarians did not ask a single question regarding the rescue of Nepali nationals. Meanwhile, the whereabouts of Bipin Joshi, who was held hostage by Hamas, has remained uncertain for the past 4 months. Parliamentarians failed to raise questions on this issue, while the Prime Minister did not inform the House about the progress being made in this regard. There are many other issues that the parliamentarians must raise and the Prime Minister must address at the House. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces if they think the government and the parliament are focused on issues of public concern. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
काम गर्न सक्ने जनता पिरमरको यथावत महँगी त्यतिकै बढेछ जनताप्रति उहाँहरू उत्तरदायी हुनुहुन्न उहाँहरू चाहिँ कसरी आफ्नो चाहिँ सत्ता टिकाउने कसरी आफू सत्तामा बसिरहने भन्ने कुरामा मात्रै बढी ध्यान छ बेरोजगार भएर विदेशिनु परेछ त्यो विषयमा उहाँहरूले बोल्ने मौका फुर्सदै छैन काण्ड यताउति काण्ड पनि खासै संलग्न देखिन्न जो सानोतिनो झिना मसिनो छ उनीहरूलाई मात्रै समातेको भेटिन्छ सर्वसाधारण हामीहरूको कुरा कहिले पनि सुनेको छैन एकअर्कालाई दोष लाउँछ के गर्छ तर कार्यान्वयन चाहिँ भएको देखिँदैन आफ्नो आफ्नो क्षेत्रका पनि बहुतै कमै जनताको पिरमार्काहरू चाहिँ भन्छन्
2-3 जना सांसदले उठाएको तर कति कार्यान्वयन भयो त्यो चाहिँ हामीले अनुमतिको हुन पाछन्
Dispute has intensified inside Nepali Congress in relation to the report to be presented at the Mahasamiti meeting. Despite completion of preparations for the meeting, which begins tomorrow, reports to be presented are yet to be concluded. Polarization has increased as one section of the party has demanded removal of some topics included in the organizational report prepared by Party General Secretary Gagan Thapa. General Secretary Thapa's report includes no provision for alliances before elections, primary elections for selection of candidates for all 3 tiers, and holding general convention by mid-December. The Central Committee meeting held for 2 days had endorsed the policy report of Party Vice President Purnabahadur Thapa, organizational report of General Secretary Thapa, and political report of another General Secretary, Bishwa Prakash Sharma, after including recommendations and amendments. Considering a possible reaction from the coalition partners, Party President Sher Bahadur Deuba has increased pressure on Thapa to remove the topic of not forming alliances before elections. After a consensus remained elusive despite long discussions yesterday and today with Party President, works of printing of report have also been halted. Another Congress leader, Shekhar Koirala, organized a tea program and directed Mahasamiti members close to him to speak about not forming alliances before elections. Meanwhile, the promotion department of Nepali Congress organized a press conference in Godavari and informed that all preparations for the Mahasamiti meeting had been completed. More than a dozen proposals are to be presented at the Mahasamiti meeting. Members, including Shankar Bhandari, have prepared to propose reinstating Nepal as a Hindu nation, while women members are to propose for formation of clusters of women officials from the ward levels. Chief Minister of Madhya Province Saroj Kumar Yadav has generated the vote of confidence for a third time. Yadav took the trust vote after 2 province ministers of Janmat Party quit the government and withdrew support on 23rd of January last month. Yadav received 69 votes while 35 votes were against him. Province Assembly members of CPN-UML and Janmat voted against him. Chief Minister Yadav of Janata Samajwadi Party received the support of Nepali Congress, CPN Mao Center, Loktantrik Samajwadi Party, CPN Unified Socialist, Rashtriya Prajantra Party, Nepal Samajwadi Party, Nagrik Unmukti Party, and independent members. CPN-UML has the highest number of members in the Madhya Province Assembly at 24. Nepali Congress has 22 members, followed by Janata Samajwadi Party with 18, Janmat with 13, CPN Mao Center and Loktantrik Samajwadi Party with 9 each, and CPN Unified Socialist has 7 members, while Nagrik Unmukti Party and Rashtriya Prajantra Party have 1 member each, alongside an independent member. Over 40,000 participants from 92 different countries gathered in Nepal's capital Kathmandu for the World Social Forum to dwell on issues like economic inequality, migration, xenophobia, and all forms of discrimination and gender, among others, but climate crisis as an overarching and cross-cutting issue had relevance on most of the themes of the event. More in this report.
Deaths from weather, climate and water hazards, at least 90% occur in developing countries, according to the United Nations. The World Bank says 82% of the deaths occur in low and lower middle income countries, and for a least developed and least polluter country like Nepal, the cost of climate crisis has been heavy, which is why the discussion for climate justice at platforms like the World Social Forum becomes imperative.
जति पनि शक्तिशाली देशहरूले शक्ति सम्पन्न देशहरूले जसका कारणले गर्दाखेरि यहाँ असर परिरहेछ हाम्रो आफ्नै कारणले कम परिरहेछ बाहिर कारणले धेरै परेछ नि त्यो विषयमा पनि उनीहरूले हामीलाई दिने अनुदानदेखि हाम्रो सहायताहरू अब क्लाइमेट फन्डको कुराहरुमा चाहिँ नेपाल जस्तो देशहरूलाई जस्टिसका हिसाबले पनि न्याय गरेर त्यसलाई त्यो खालको प्रमोट गर्न पर्यो त्यो खालको एक्सेस हुन पर्यो भन्ने कुराहरु हो
Climate justice demands that the burdens of climate change should be shared fairly. It emphasizes the responsibility of developed nations in addressing the impacts of climate change, as historically they have contributed significantly to greenhouse gas emissions. But extreme weather events have been a reality of present, and marginalized communities of Nepal often bear the highest brunt, facing displacement, food insecurity, and economic hardship. And in them, it's the women and children that face the most impact.
पानी ल्याउने कामहरु महिलाकै हो खाना बनाउने काम महिलाको हो त्यसैले पानीका मुहानहरु सुक्दै गएको छन् त्यसको असर प्रत्यक्ष उसको चाहिँ खाद्यान्नमा असर परेछ कृषिमा असर परेको छ उब्जनी कम भएको छ उब्जनी कम भएपछि पौष्टिक आहारमा पनि कमी भएको देखेछ
At COP28 in Dubai last December, world leaders agreed to establish a loss and damage fund. It was hailed as a milestone achievement, but experts back home call for adequate homework on part of the government to be able to access the fund.
हामीले अब यस्तो कोष बनिरहँदा आजको भोलि नै रकमहरु आइहाल्ने होइन त्यसकारणले हामीसँग केही समय चाहिँ हाम्रो आन्तरिक रूपमा चाहिँ संरचनागत हिसाबले हेर्दाखेरि नीतिगत हिसाबले हेर्दाखेरि हाम्रो कार्यान्वयनका जुन विषयहरु छन् ती सबै कुराहरु यस्तो रकम ल्याएर चाहिँ खर्च गर्दाखेरि त्यो भित्र आन्तरिक तयारी छ कि छैन भन्ने महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा हो तलसम्म जुन पालिका लेभलसम्म पुर्याएर चाहिँ जुन क्षमता अभिवृद्धि गर्नुपर्ने कुराहरु छ त्यसमा तयारी गर्ने भोलिको दिनमा जब कोष बनेर एक खालको फंक्सनल भइसक्छ त्यसपछि हामीले त्यसमा चाहिँ हाम्रो प्रोजेक्टहरु अथवा हाम्रो जुन असरहरुलाई त्यहाँ लिएर गएर चाहिँ हामीले रकम ल्याउने र ती संयन्त्र मार्फत चाहिँ खर्च गर्न सकिएको खण्डमा चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ हाम्रो जनतालाई चाहिँ न्याय गर्न सक्छौं भन्ने लाग्छ
The government of Nepal has goals under the nationally determined contributions and the national adaptation plans as its policies to address climate crisis. Some of it, experts say, are overambitious in the current scenario and that political ownership has also been very low.
यी सबै कुराहरुमा प्रतिबद्धता मात्रै भएर भएन, लेखेर मात्रै पनि भएन, अब एक्सनमा जाऊ, काम गर, जीवनयापनमा चेन्ज आउनु पर्यो। नागरिकको जीवन स्तरमा जबसम्म परिवर्तन आउँदैन, व्यवस्था परिवर्तनले केही हुनेवाला छैन। त्यही भएर नागरिकहरुकै जीवन स्तरमा परिवर्तन आउने गरी उनीहरूले अनुभूति गर्ने गरी काम गर भन्ने कुरामा संसदको, हाम्रो राष्ट्रिय सभा सिङ्गैको, समितिहरुको हामी सबैको त्यसमा फोकस छ र सरकारलाई त्यसप्रति उत्तरदायी जिम्मेवार बनाउन कोसिसहरू भइरहेछ।
As summer and monsoon arrive, deaths due to rain-induced disasters and communicable diseases will be a harsh reality for Nepal. Hence, the onus is on the government to ensure adequate homework to meet its climate mitigation and adaptation goal, and on the developed countries to ensure climate justice. Sarah Sapsanama for Kantipur News, Kathmandu.
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what should be done to improve learning English by students of community schools? 29% voted for A, improve teaching method, 57% for B, provide skilled teachers, and 14% for C, more effort by students. And here's today's question. What should be done to ensure the timely completion of Kathmandu Tarai Madesh Fast Track? Your options are A, erase legal complications, B, flexibility from government, and C, monitoring and regulation. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international update. Mediator Qatar has said talks to agree a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza were not very promising in recent days. Qatar's Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani said he remained optimistic but added time is not in favor. It comes as Israel's Prime Minister said he would press ahead with plans for a Rafah ground invasion despite growing international pressure. Hamas has blamed Israel for a lack of progress in achieving a ceasefire deal. Talks have been taking place in Cairo as senior officials from the U.S., Israel, Egypt, and Qatar meet to try to broker a pause in fighting. Israel launched its military offensive after Hamas-led gunmen killed at least 1,200 people and seized 253 hostages in a surprise attack on its territory on 7th of October. The Hamas-run health ministry says more than 28,800 people, mainly women and children, have been killed in Israel's campaign.
Sports news.
Canada secured their first win of their Nepal tour as they secured a 4-wicket win over Nepal A team. In the first one-day match of the 3-match series played at the Mulpani cricket ground, Nepal A side were put to bat where they posted 216 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in 50 overs. Basir Ahmad top scored for Nepal A as he remained unbeaten on 50 runs, while Rashid Khan added 40 and Mayan Yadav contributed 35 runs. Saad Zafar was the pick of the Canadian bowlers with 3 wickets. Ishwar Kot Sohi claimed 2 wickets, while Dylan Heilinger, Harsh Thakur and Shahid Ahmadzai shared a wicket each. In reply, Canada made 218 runs, losing 6 wickets with 3 balls to spare. Navneet Dhaliwal top scored with 80 runs from 76 balls, while Nikhil Datta remained unbeaten at a composed 67 runs alongside Shreyas Mova with 22 not out. Shahab Alam picked 2 wickets for Nepal, while Pratish GC, Rashid Khan, Sagar Dhakal and Bashir Ahmad had 1 scalp each. The second match between the two sides is slated for this Tuesday. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.